Hey guys, you're watching the Dota Weekly Show, your source of news, mechanics, and whatever else that's interesting under the Dota universe. This week we got a couple of big headlines. SMM is switching from Dota to Dota 2, and I'll talk about what are the ramifications of that. We had two big LANs finishing last weekend. It's ICS, ESTC, and I'll talk about those as well. For the mechanics corner this week, we'll talk about experience and some very interesting scenarios regarding it. Finally, I'm making the announcement that I'm going to be giving away one beta key each and every week until the public beta of Dota 2 is announced. So stay tuned to find out how you could get your hands on those keys. Without further ado, this is the Dota Weekly Show. It's a Dota Weekly Show!
Yay!
Hey guys, today's October 10th, 2011. I'm Luminous, your host for the Dota Weekly Show, and let's get right on to the news. First big piece of news is that SMM is switching from Dota 1 to Dota 2. And my initial reaction to that was like, this is not a good idea. Not a good idea. But since then, I've thought about it, I've sat down and was like, you know what? Let's think about this for a bit. And I've moved from heavy disdain to neutrality. Now let's first talk about why it's a bad idea to switch from Dota 1 to Dota 2. Most of the participating team, mostly Southern East Asian teams, haven't even received a Dota 2 key yet. So they're going to be in a heavy disadvantage compared to teams that do have a Dota 2 key. MEFC, for example, MYMSG, for example, they already been playing Dota 2 for quite a bit. Whereas if you're some rather unknown team that qualify for SMM, you don't have a beta key, so you already have a less amount of time to practice compared to, let's say, MEFC or MYM, and that's a heavy disadvantage, especially if you're up against those really strong teams. The second thing is that all those teams that qualify, they've been practicing Dota 1. Like, the qualifiers themselves are in Dota 1, so you spend months training for this tournament, and then suddenly, oh, it's a different game. And before you guys tell me, oh no, it's just same as Dota, but with different graphics, it's a different game. If you're losing 40 heroes, it's a different game. So with that regard, that's where my heavy disdain came in. And of course, the game is very buggy. But let's get to why this might be a an okay idea to switch from Dota 1 to Dota 2. There's 2 months. There's 2 months for Valve and IceFrog to kind of clear out as much bugs as possible, to add as many heroes back into the game as possible. So it's not out of expectation to see maybe 60 heroes, and then a lot of bugs removed when SMM comes. It's still like half the hero pool, but it's okay. It's okay. It's like a stepping stone. And I mean, 2011 is probably the last year that we're gonna see Dota 1 really in its true glory. 2012 is gonna be all in Dota 2. So this SMM tournament might be a very good transition from Dota 1 to Dota 2. Of course, we had that international thing, and it was very well ran. And let's see if SMM could kind of uphold the tradition to see they could be running a very successful Dota 2 tournament as well. Because again, this tournament is going to be held in Asia, whereas the international was held in Europe. We're going to be appealing to a different group of sponsors, and overall, it's going to help the game grow. So that's why I kind of like, moving from huge disdain to neutrality. I'm not too sure whether it's going to be a good idea, but hey, I'm not hating it. So that's kind of where my stance on it. I'm actually very curious on where you guys stand on this subject, because I've been reading a lot of forums, and I see a lot of people supporting, and I see a lot of people hating it. So where do you guys stand on this? Of course, the second piece of news is that Artstyle will be trolling again last week. If you watched last week's Dota Weekly Show, I've said that he's leaving Navi. Not sure if he's retiring yet. He's like unmotivated, don't want to play Dota. It's like blah blah. And this week he just starts a new team. He's going back to a DTS organization, and he actually competed in the ICS LAN this weekend. I'll talk about that in just a bit. So Artstyle is enigmatic. He's like, for 1 minute he's like, hey, I don't know, I don't have any motivation to play with my team anymore. And the next minute he starts a new team. So let's see if he's going to be taking this team to the height of glory, because the past couple of teams that he's been on, he actually has a very strong track record. Hey, the international itself said enough, right? So he is a good captain, and let's see where the new DTS is going to be going. Now, speaking of the ICS, which was a LAN that was held last weekend, we had very strong East European teams and European teams in general. And we have Moscow 5 coming ahead, with Monkey in second place, and DTS and Navi in the 3rd and 4th place respectively. Moscow 5 looking ridiculously strong on LAN. They've been always strong on LAN. Of course, going back to the old DTS day, not the new one, but the old DTS day, had a group of DTS players that were from very strong LAN experience. So it's no surprise that they won, considering that the new DTS with the art style team just formed for 1 week. Navi is severely weakened. It's actually Hovos plus 4 random players. Dandy wasn't there either, so it's not really true Navi. And Monkey, it's up there, but they kind of got outclassed by M5. So that's kind of it for the ICS tournament. They won one of the last lands in Dota 1, so that's actually a pretty big accomplishment. Moving back to Southeast Asia, we had the ESTC in the past weekend as well, Electronic Sports Thailand Championship, and we had Orange Esports taking that one out from Neolution. NYMSG actually not even making it to the top 4, so that's a huge disappointment considering that they have a pretty strong roster. Of course, Yamate wasn't able to attend for MYM, so maybe that's why they didn't do so well, but you don't want to make any excuses. You know what, Silver Cross wasn't there, or Juice wasn't there, Yamate wasn't there. All the teams are missing strong players on the roster, but we're not going to make any excuses. Orange played very well throughout the entire tournament, and they definitely deserve the win. That's another one of the few lands that's left in Dota 1 history, and Orange took that one. And I think WDC is actually going to be the very last big international LAN that's out there. I hope that LAN is not switching to Dota 2, or that one I will actually really rage. So I hope that one's staying in Dota 1. Of course, I'll keep you guys updated as that happens. So there's a lot more news that you can check out on GhostgamerNet or sggamer.net/Dota. Definitely recommend you to go to those websites to check it out. So that's it for the news, and let's move on to mechanics.
For this week's mechanic, I'm going to continue the trend of talking about something that we're very familiar with, and it's going to be experience. As you know, you could gain experience by killing heroes, creeps, and even buildings. I'm going to lightly touch upon denying creep before moving on to hero XP, which is the big bulk of this mechanics. The basic knowledge about denying creep that you really need to know is that when you deny against a melee hero versus when you deny against a ranged hero, the melee enemy hero will gain overall more XP than the ranged hero. It's kind of a balance issue, since melee heroes don't have as good a lane control ability as ranged heroes. Now let's move on to the hero killing EXP, and this might be a little bit confusing, but try to follow me along. Whenever you kill an enemy hero, you will gain a certain amount of EXP, and that EXP is contributed by 2 different factors. The first factor is a static amount of EXP you'll gain. So for example, when you kill a level 5 hero, you gain 300 experience. When you kill a level 7 hero, you gain 500 experience. It's a static amount that purely depends on whatever the enemy level is. Now keep in mind, this static experience is shared between all the allies hero in the area, so the static amount of, let's say, 500 EXP you get for killing a level 7 hero is split evenly amongst however many friendly heroes that you have nearby, so you don't just keep all of that EXP by yourself. The second amount of EXP that you do gain is what we call the assist EXP, which is basically the EXP that you gain simply by being near there. You don't even have to get a kill, you don't even have to touch enemy hero, you just have to be within 100 AoE range of the dying hero, and you just get the EXP. So here's the exact numbers of the distribution of EXP for the assist EXP. And the biggest thing I want to point out here is that there was a big change from 6.69C to 6.72, where the EXP system got changed, and that's why tri-lanes are no longer seen. Before when 3 heroes commit a kill, you get vastly more EXP compared to now, where you get a lot less EXP, and that's why tri-lanes are not as popular anymore, because even if you commit a kill with 3 heroes, the EXP that you gain is just not as good as before. So now I'm going to talk about some very case-specific scenarios regarding gaining EXP. The first one I talk about is denying heroes. So for example, when an enemy denies a hero, an enemy being an enemy hero or even neutral creeps, when they deny a hero, you will not gain the static amount of EXP, which is, let's say, the raw, let's say 700, but you will still gain the assist EXP. So that's the within 1,000 range area. So you can see that even though an enemy hero denies a target, you will still gain a little bit, but getting a deny is still very, very important in terms of denying that big bulk of EXP that the enemy hero would have gotten. The second very interesting scenario is that a hexed unit would not gain any EXP. And this can be actually a very strategic move if you're playing Rasta or Line. If you're getting ganked by a carry plus support, when you're almost going to be dying and you know you can't make it away, just hex the carry and allow the support to get the kill. And because the carry is hexed, the carry won't get any EXP. The third interesting fact is that a hidden unit will get EXP. Hidden units are things like, Disrupted from Shadow Demon's Disruption, Astral Imprisonment from the Destroyer. We have Nix's Infest, Panda Split. Oh, you just name a couple of hidden spells. So let's say, for example, that you're laning with Destroyer and you disrupt an enemy hero. One of your creeps dies nearby. He will still get the EXP. However, here's the interesting thing. If you disrupt the enemy hero and then you deny the creep, the enemy hero will get 0 EXP. So that's a huge difference here. If you disrupt them and the creep just dies, he will get full EXP. But if you deny the creep, you get 0 EXP. And lastly, and this one I think it's a bug, the fourth interesting fact is that if you have a dead hero and you somehow get a kill outside of 1200 range, your dead hero will still gain EXP. Like I think that's very buggy indeed, but hey, it works. So those are kind of some of the very odd and interesting things about experience point. I think the most important thing to learn from this whole thing is how the assist EXP work, and how the big chunk, the static chunk of EXP work as well. And I'm sure all of you guys have that scenario where you just come out of team fight and you just suddenly get 3 extra levels and you don't know how you got that extra level. Chances are you are the lone survivor on your team on that level, and you got some very lucky kills, and because no one else is around there to share the 3 kills of EXP that you got, then you just gain 3 or 4 levels. So that's kind of how it happens.
Alright, that's it for the mechanics, and let's move on to the interesting happening of this week. I wish I have something interesting happening this week, but I don't even have time for it. So this is incoming, a little bit of rant about my life. For the past week, and this week, and the next week, I have like 4 or 5 paper due, which normally isn't so bad if I wasn't doing that one video thing a day. So I'm actually dead for like the past couple of days. So unfortunately, I haven't been watching a lot of animes, haven't been playing a lot of games, so I don't have any recommendation on that end. But once I'm done with all that stuff, I should be coming back with that interesting corner of the Dota Weekly Show. Also, the banner competition, the article competition, the intro competition all ended on DotaCommentators.com, so I had to deal with that as well. And the 5v5 tournament is on the second stage, so a lot of DC administrative work that I have also taken care of that also took away a little bit of my time from Dota Weekly Show. Sad, I know. But that's it for that. Also, DC have a new commentator that we just invited, B-Balling, and I recommend you to check this guy out. This guy is really unique in the fact that his channel is very dual-faced. One side, he has a very strategic analysis. He talk about in-depth positioning, hero choices, what hero should do, your standard fare. And then on the other side, he and his friends go pubbing and get on. So it's a very strong dichotomy of, hey, this is in-depth strategy, and hey, here's Wes, messing around. So he is such a quality commentator. I won't ask you guys to go to his channel and subscribe to him. I just urge you guys to go to his channel and check him out, because the reason I'm here doing this kind of Dota Weekly Show, providing commentary for you guys today, is because I'm getting a lot of constant support, and I do think that he's someone that deserves the support. So at least go check him out, and then you can make the decision whether you want to support him or not. So go check out B-Balling. I will include his link in the description box. And finally, you guys have been staying very patiently for this. It is the BetaKeys. So I have actually got my hands on a batch of BetaKeys, enough to last from now to the release of the public beta. So however long that lasts, I will have enough keys to give away 1 a week. And I actually haven't decided how I actually want to give it out. And the reason being so is okay, so for example, if I'm giving a key out this week, the person that's getting the keys yeah, I'm happy I get to play Dota 2 right now, that's going to be great. But then if I'm giving the key the weekend before the public beta is released, that person wouldn't be as happy, because, Dota 2 is going to be coming out in 2 days. Okay, I have a key, big whoop, right? So I want to distribute the same amount of keys, but I want to do it sooner, so people that are getting the key will get to play it. Currently, I don't have any smart way to devise that, so if you have any smart idea in terms of how I could give out the same number of beta keys, but give it out to you guys sooner, that would be good. Now for the next week, I will just do the same thing that I did for last time, which basically is take a random number generator for one of my subscribers, and then just do it that way. But again, I'm waiting for that smart and interesting idea to give out that beta key. So that's it for this week's Dota Weekly Show. A lot of random stuff, and I do apologize for that. Next week we are going to be back to our full glory of the standard Dota Weekly Show. And hope you guys enjoyed this week's show. And until next time, this is Luminous signing out for you guys.